I'm Dear Shamica, and this is In the Jam.
So we are in the gym with Enz.
Yo,
Enz, we're gonna do this like this. So the first segment of the show is called the warm up.
for sure.
So we're gonna warm people up to who you are. So who are you, Enz?
Listen, I'm one of the premier Christian hip hop rappers in Memphis. Gospel rap or inspirational hip hop hadn't been done like this at a high level. I was the first one to break the barriers, to make it not look so churchy, but make it look appealing to our younger generation, younger audience. But also put it in a position where the older audience will accept it, and and able to respond to it. But not only that. A preacher of the gospel, pastor, I'm a husband to an incredible wife and some beautiful children. Just putting on,
Okay.
making Jesus look cool again.
Yeah. How did you get the name Enz?
Enz came from before I changed my life. I was in the streets at an early age, 12 years old. I went to prison for the first time, and just being around older people and just sucking up the game from older people in the streets, and they start calling me Young Enz. Like, what's up, Young Enz? Young Enz.
What does that mean?
Enz is another term for money. You never heard the ends meet. I'm gonna make my ends meet. So they used to start calling me that, and I just took it and ran with it. You know,
Okay. So we talk about the streets. What do you think about street mentorship? Like, do you feel you were led to the streets by looking up to certain people, or is it just something that how did that
absolutely.
happen?
I didn't know what success was until I seen drug dealers. So the average youth or younger person coming up in the poverty area, the first person you see is drug dealers, NFL players, basketball players. But the person I had direct access to was drug dealers. So I wanted to be just that. I learned financial literacy through dope boys. I didn't get that in school. School just gave me what you call applied application. So, the streets did. It was a gift and a curse at the same time.
Was there ever a fear in you, or
Absolutely. I still have fear from stuff I did in my past that people don't know that I changed my life. That's why I love opportunities like this. So, hey guys, I'm not the same guy, man. Forgive me, man. But I turned a new page and I'm in a new place. So it's still fear. But the Bible said I don't give you the spirit of fear, so I trust God to keep me safe.
okay, okay, let's go to the stretch. So basically, what the stretch is a time in your life where you feel like you were stretched the most. We kind of touched on prison, but we never really touched on,
Yeah.
the ins and the outs, or how long you stayed in prison, what you went for, and what led to your road to getting out.
Being what got me out is really believing God, because I was supposed to do more time initially than that I was supposed to do. But I found you know how you can grow up in church and not in Christ. But I found God for real in prison, and God worked a miracle. Without telling on nobody or getting nobody else, I took my own responsibilities and held accountability and just fell in love with God. And I met this young man in prison. His mom ended up being a pastor,
Okay.
and she coached me all the way through. And I used her and tapped in with God. I started this thing called the prayer circle in jail and went from 3 people to 63 people. So I fell in love with preaching in the prison.
Okay, can you kind of give a little background, or do you feel comfortable giving
Absolutely.
background about, maybe what led you to going and
Initially, it was selling drugs, but I had warrants and stuff before I even went for the drugs for domestic violence. Just like being like, I think that's one of the most cowardly things in the world, to put your hands on a woman. But when you're broken, disgusted, and you're in survival mode, it puts you in another egotistical place. And it did that, and it landed me there. So it gave me a chance to recalibrate my mind. But initially, drugs got me locked up.
okay, how long were you supposed to stay there?
I was supposed to do a 52-year sentence, but all the charges got dropped and dismissed.
And so how long did you end up doing in total?
Right about they broke it in half. It was probably about 2 years. I kept violating probation and stuff like this. About 2 years
Okay.
altogether.
And do you have children?
Absolutely, I got 5 beautiful children.
Okay. So when you were in prison, you had kids. Like, how did you cope with being a parent
I
and
was
being
a terrible
incarcerated?
dad. I didn't know how to be a dad. I didn't know what being a father was. Fortunately, and fortunately for my children, they had incredible mothers. They were good mothers to them and bought gifts for them and made it look like daddy did it. So I'm grateful for them, but it still has friction there. Because the person I am now wasn't then. So I'm still trying to get everybody to heal from that. But I had to forgive myself too, so we all still working on it, still a work in progress, but, my children had to suffer because I was still growing.
Okay. What are some progressive steps you've taken to be a better father since getting out of?
Learning how to communicate and understanding other people's perspective and taking accountability for the things I did. And not just saying, man, I'm doing this. I just had to take accountability and realize what I did to those people. And they have the right to feel however they feel because I did it. So I just want them to know I'm better. God has me in a position where I'm matriculating the high levels, and I just want to, stay the course.
Okay. So from the streets to being a pastor to being a husband
Yeah.
to being a father, were you able to maintain some of the friendships that you had prior to, or did you lose some friends along the
Well,
way?
absolutely. I lost a lot of friends because when you come from where I come from a dark place where you don't expect the little hood boy to be well articulate, to be attracted to books, to be able to read, to go in the room where I'm sitting with the mayor. So that low frequency mind, they automatically feel like he acting like he better than us now, So I had to just learn how to detach emotionally from it and realize everybody ain't going where I'm going. So of course I lost friendships. Some people still love and respect me and like they see my growth, but some folks flat foot hate it.
Okay, the power lift. So this is another segment that we have.
Yeah.
How do you strengthen yourself mentally?
Through the help of God. Having great accountability partners around me. I make sure that everybody around me is better than me at something. So whenever I fail, they can pick me up. Majority of the time, I'm the youngest person in the room, even though I'm the leader. But those are leaders to me. So everybody around me pours into me. I never have an empty cup.
What is the significance of people pouring into you for those that may not know?
Pouring into me is using their gift, their spirituality, their intellect, their influence, their connections, their revelation from stuff I'm doing. Just making sure that I'm never running low, even though everybody has time when they're down. No matter how gifted you are, how spiritual you are, it's gonna come a time when you get down. The Bible said, "Count it all joy when you fall. You gonna fall." So for me, it's just making sure that Jay-Z said that. If you don't want to get money and you don't, everybody around you broke, then you still broke. So I want to make sure that I'm never broke by having people that's rich in spirit.
Okay, what's the significance of that quote to you? Can you kind of break it down?
So it's just basically saying don't be the only one with forward progression. Don't be the only one having motion, my boy. Make sure that everybody around you is really doing something so your gifts can complement each other. Not that where we playing tug of war with our platforms. That all of us are benefiting from each other. We all complement each other.
Okay, we kind of spoke on power since we're talking about powerlifting. I've heard a lot of people say that the city of Memphis is not a place where people support each other. Do you feel that way, or do you feel like people support each other, or is it one of those things that's
people support what they want to support? People pick and choose on what they want to do. It go back to that low frequency mindset. So you're gonna always have people that have something to say. We always gravitate to what we like. So fortunately for me, I built my own demographic where there's an audience there. And I'm making it attractive to the outside audience. So because of that, you got some people that don't understand and some people that do. So for me, it's working for me by the grace of God, with the help of God.
Okay. And since we're talking about power, also we briefly off camera we talked about you meeting your wife once you were released from prison.
I actually knew her before
Oh,
prison.
you knew her before
I knew her
prison.
before prison. Yeah.
Can you briefly talk about that?
I met my wife. She was a phlebotomist at this company called ZLB Plasma. I went in one day. I was 19 years old. It was one of them days, broke days. I was good and broken.
Not good and broke.
I was good and broke. But I walked in. I had on some Europico jeans. That's a high dollar, $1,000 pair of jeans. I had on Jordans and a white t-shirt. Just broke, fresh and broke.
For no reason.
And I walked in. She said, "Boy, what you doing in here? You don't need no money." You know how you flirt. And I laid down on the table to get my blood. I'm just pumping my life away. and I flirted with her and I told her, "Girl, when I get this $50, I'm going to flip it so many times that by next week, I'm going to be able to take you on a date." And she laughed and walked off. And then she come back. I kept flirting with her. And I said, "If you give me a chance, by next week, I'm going to have enough money to take you to any restaurant you want, to go see a movie." That's all I knew how to do back then. And she came out and wrote her name on a little piece of paper. We've been connected ever since. But prison brought us closer. Because even while having success and having finances, she never wanted none of it. It was in my down moment where she sold and poured the most into me. And I said, "Girl, when I get out of this prison, I'm going to change my life and you'll never want for nothing because of the seeds you sow." So she been my best friend, my ride or die, and that's my dog.
Okay, so what are some qualities about her that made you say, you know what, this is a person that I want to be beside me for the long haul?
She was cultivated right. She got incredible parents, incredible grandmother and granddad. And I always wanted the woman that had all that because she knows how to be. That not necessarily all the time, but she received those traits. So she's a natural wife. She was cultivated to be a wife. She don't care about my platform. She don't want to be seen. She hates social media. She go to work, got a career job, go home. She don't even care. So that alone, I said, I don't have to play tug of war with my influence. I don't have to share the spotlight. Not saying I don't want to, but I watch relationships get tore up because of this microphone. And the fact that she doesn't want it, it makes me vulnerable to want to give her everything. That's a top quality. And she keep people out of her business. That's number two. And she understands finances. I give you a fourth one for free. She believes in my dreams. Not just believe with her mind, she puts her finances in whatever I believe in. She'll never want for nothing.
Okay, we got the flex.
All right.
So the flex is basically upcoming tours, upcoming music, accomplishments. You just get a moment to flex on people about some of your major
let me
accomplishments.
pop it in, man. I won 5-time Gospel Rapper of the Year, 2-time Radio Personality nominated, Stellar Award nominated. We got an album went out last year, did 22,000 the first 3 days independently. Radio Personality, one of the premier good gospel preaching pastors, I believe, in this city that can do it like this. We got a new album. We on rollout right now, so I'm traveling. Those who just pay attention to my social media know I'm on rollout. We just left VA. We moving around, promoting the album. It's called Honorable Mentions. I'm expecting it to do incredible numbers with the help of this platform, and we're going crazy. And we just want to introduce this market to Memphis at a high way and a high level.
Okay, being that you are in the spotlight, since we're flexing, how do you stay grounded in God and grounded in your morals and principles in an industry that may, not to say everything is immoral, but where is, you have to learn how to navigate carefully so you don't get caught up in the fame. How do you stay grounded?
Keep God at the head of my life and realize nobody's doing what I'm doing. I know you're not doing what I'm doing, so I'm not in competition with anybody. So I honor everybody's gift. I honor every platform that I'm on. I give flowers. But it's always going to be somebody that come along when you have an inkling of success and try to tell people who you are or who you used to be. So because of that, I just keep God at the head of my life. And because of that, I'm always calibrated.
Okay. What advice would you have for somebody that's trying to get into the music industry?
Get your business together first and fall in love with the craft every day. It's 90% business, 10% talent. But you still have to be in love with your craft. It can't just be a hobby. It requires some uncomfortable sacrifices. But get to do that first and everything will work out.
Okay, we're talking about uncomfortable sacrifices.
Right.
What are some uncomfortable sacrifices, some examples of those that you can throw out for people to understand?
Paying for studio time when I ain't have no food at home.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
So a lot of my audience knows I actually have a mixtape called Love, Love, Sacrifice.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people think you just, we see people, in the music industry who are killing it, but you don't even understand the craft that goes behind not only writing a song, but the delivery. So I paid I think studio time was like $35 an hour. But if
you did good.
But if you're bad at what you're doing, that $35 can add up real quick. And you like, hold on, let me go back to that. But it took for me to do it on my own to realize it's a lot that goes into delivery.
Yeah.
It's a lot that goes into breath control.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot that goes into a performance and making people believe in what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because if you don't sound like you believe in what you're saying, your audience
It's
won't.
definitely not gonna believe you.
And then they, despite what other people are doing, you still have to stay true to you because what's working for somebody that the machine is pushing versus, like you said, you're an independent artist.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that. What challenges do you face as an independent artist that you feel that people that have maybe a machine behind them don't face?
There's certain doors they can get in that I can't knock on yet. The gift is there. The professionalism is there. But again, the machine isn't there. So there's just the analytics not high enough. It's just certain doors. If I wanted to go get a Coca-Cola endorsement, it's going to be hard for me to do that right now. So but we're staying positive. We control all the money, the back office that comes in. So
that's a positive
that's
aspect.
a blessing for me because I ain't got to split this money with y'all. So and a lot of them don't really understand the finances that come with gospel rap. But with me being a preacher, I have a bigger platform than most artists because you have an age limit and I don't. At some point you can't keep talking about the same stuff as a trap rapper. I can keep giving you Jesus forever. So that's one thing I feel like record labels miss out on with gospel rap.
What do you feel like they miss out on? I'm sorry.
The time limit. Gospel music is timeless. You got 70-year-old artists still getting $75,000, $80,000 a show. And in the street and secular music, it cuts off at some point.
At a certain age.
Absolutely, because you can't be 50 years old still talking about the same.
I mean, you can,
but it don't make sense for you. You're not going to get the same audience. So with this, I can give Jesus forever.
Yeah. Okay, so we are about to wrap it up. We got the cool down segment. What do you want that we haven't talked about previously? What do you want your audience or people that don't necessarily know about you to look forward to in the future?
I'm getting ready to change the game of gospel rap. It's never going to be the same once I get to the next level. We already tapping on the door. We already been recognized. We already been in the rooms with the who's. But when they get a load of what Enz is doing in this Memphis sound, it'll never be the same. And streets is high-class street music on a whole nother level that's well polished and put together. Your life going to change when you experience Enz.
Okay. What is one of your favorite songs that you've recorded?
Right now it's called Oh Lord. It's produced by my manager and producer and personal engineer Woodgrain. And it was a record that I didn't want to do. It was like 5 a.m. and I didn't want to do the record, and he just was like, go back in. I didn't want to do the record, and it's been one of my top streaming songs, and it's just one of the fans' favorite records, and it's changed my life. Just hearing the testimonies and hearing people saying how much they love this song, and I didn't even want to do it.
Can you give us a brief synopsis? Of course, we know it's about the Lord.
Yeah,
but what is the song about?
Well, not really. It's me being brutally honest about my failures, vices, flaws, and how God still used me. Even when people said that I wasn't worthy, like, how God gonna pick you? It's just like Zacchaeus in the Bible. God said, all y'all doing all this murmuring, but his heart better than yours. So that's what I'm gonna use and bless. So, but you just gotta be mature enough to go through it and deal with it. And that's what this song is. How I endured, how I kept going. And you can do the same thing.
Okay. What was one of your what has been one of your most memorable moments as an artist?
I have several. I just came out on a Southern Soul set with my dog Prince DJ, and in Mud Island. I came out in the middle of the set, and everybody just started screaming. So I was like, I'm on a Southern Soul set, like I'm a gospel rapper. So that was dope to me. Like that was dope. That's dope. I don't care how saved you get. To see that, it turned me up. Yeah, so I've been on tour with him and everything.
And that's one of your most memorable. That's dope.
That's super dope. Like something so like this is a 40 and up, 35 and up crowd, 60-year-old, 70-year-old women got here in tents, screaming. When I get off stage, want to take pictures with me. So that was crazy to me.
Dope.
It turned me up. It gassed me up some more.
Okay. How can the people get in contact with you?
All right. You can follow me on all social media. It's The Real Enz. It's THEREAL_Enz on all social media, Instagram, on everything. For booking is bookingenz1989 @gmail.com. I'm excited to come to your city, to your church, to your community center. I come in your backyard if the budget right, but holla at me. We get ready to change the world.
Okay. And we're going to end it on this note. What is one of your favorite scriptures or quotes? And can you kind of elaborate on why that's one of your favorite scriptures or quotes?
Well, I can give you both if you want both.
Yeah.
My favorite scripture is Job 40:7. It says, gird up your loins like a man. Women don't have loins, but it's just simply saying, to paraphrase, that you got to have thick skin. Bible said, many are called, few are chosen. When God picked you, it requires you to have another level of thick skin. So I use this quote that adversity is designed to make you discoverable. But not only does it make you discoverable, but it exposes your deficiency. So adversity makes you discoverable. It exposes your flaws, your failure, the stuff that we hide behind the glamour. But when you really embrace it, it shows how different you are. So embrace your adversity.
How do you go about embracing it for someone that, maybe they haven't took this journey?
Yeah.
How would they go about not being ashamed of, their flaws and failures and actually embracing?
Grow up in front of the people's face. Use their talking as a platform. Like people gonna talk about you anyway. Let them talk about you. They're gonna talk, but make sure the next time they see you that you're better. You grew, you grown, you matriculated to high levels. Make sure that happens. And if you do that, you're going to always be motivated. Because at some point, you're going to realize that that's your new gimmick. Go ahead and talk about me. You just save me money on marketing. You just save me money on buying literature and flyers because you're going to talk about me.
And they give you an audience.
You're giving me an audience.
And they don't even realize.
You don't even realize it. You just got to get out your feelings and use what God put in your hands already.